Bisexuals who have been in relationships with both genders. What are some noticeable differences between dating a man and a woman? This is sort of broad strokes, but oftentimes when a man would approach me with a problem, he's looking for a solution. When a woman would, she wants her feelings validated. This also means, when I talk about a problem of mine, my partner would respond in the way they would want, rather than what I'm necessarily seeking. Edit. There are lots of exceptions, and it's not a binary thing. Sometimes I, a dude, will go to a partner hoping for validation of my feelings, because I already know the solution to my problem, and it just helps to share my feelings. A burden shared is a burden halved. Sometimes, women I know do want help with finding a solution to a problem. I've just noticed that in general these trends often exist. In arguments alone, women are explosive, but more pleasant in the day-to-day. Men tend to backslide into a quiet agony that never gets resolved. The women I've dated tend to be more open emotionally, ready and able to bring up any problem as it occurs, and similarly able to chill it for a time, while we both get our emotions back to a state where we can talk to each other. Men, for their part, are content to just never bring up what bothers them. They'll gladly endure, for 30 years, a problem that can be resolved in 3 days of open conversation. Also, men will want a moderate level of sex all the time, while women want a fluctuating low then high level of sex depending on circumstances, hormones, emotions, and the positions of the moons of Jupiter. I tend to have crazy mad sparse sex with women, but constant decent sex with men. Men can get ready in a matter of minutes, and unready in a matter of seconds. There's actually a noticeable difference on how I approach the relationship. When I'm with men I like being taken care of, but I like being more dominant, and with women, I'll do all the things I'd want a man to do for me. I'm the same. The only difference, that I'm a guy. Girls are softer, more gentle and like to chat/converse about everything. The guys I've dated have been way less emotionally open and would bottle their feelings and never talk about them. No, we don't. I don't want to talk about it. Women are softer and gentler in both a physical and emotional sense. Arguments tend to be more emotional and less angry with women, but now that we learn to be intentionally kinder to each other around our periods, that doesn't happen much at all. It's a little weird on a date with a woman that you use the same bathroom. You don't get that moment to yourself, and there's no privacy. Men seem to be more activity driven. I'll offer up the caveat that I've only had 5 partners total, so there's a lot of generalization. The biggest difference for me, as a guy, is that there is a different level of friendship with a guy than a girl. With my current BF, it's like I'm hanging out with my best bro, at the same time as spending time with the person I love. We do everything together, and I never really want time away. My last ex, a girl, was great to spend time with, but there was a level of understanding and friendship that wasn't there purely because she was a girl. She could never understand certain things that a guy just gets. That shared understanding of experience that guys have. I'm sure girls have the same thing with other girls. That was longer than I expected, but that's the biggest difference I have. More individual difference than gender difference. But if there is one, it's communication style. Men take a lot longer to open up, and I'd say most men are less thoughtful about many things, like keeping track of important things happening in your life and giving support through them. Although my personal experience there with the only man I've seriously dated has been stellar. Guys can be really clingy, more than the girls sometimes. Guilty. Big guilty. Lost one of my girlfriends because I was so afraid of her cheating. She would have never cheated on me, and I knew it, but my brain still wouldn't believe me. I ended up crashing what we had to the ground. Now I'm with someone who I really love and trust, and I think I'm making a lot of progress in trusting her and learning to keep my worries at a minimum. I keep seeing a reoccurring theme here. Girls think sex with girls is better, and guys think sex with guys is better. Possibly because you have the same anatomy and know what feels good. Possibly, but I also notice that the amount of time put into foreplay differs too. With guys, it's like a common courtesy, but the women I've been with would spend an hour on me if I'll let them. How it's received by the general public. When I'm out one-on-one with a man, It's second nature to assume he is my significant other in situations such as having a dinner date or a weekend away at a hotel. That's not the case when I'm with a woman. In particular, my current girlfriend looks somewhat similar to me. We are both petite blondes. When we are out together, the first assumption is that we are sisters or best friends. We have to make a point to explain that we are together. It doesn't bother me, as most people genuinely just don't know and assume what's second nature to them. It's just an observation. You're missing an opportunity to loudly declare something to your sister and then 5 minutes later make out. It's easier to share a bathroom with two men. There's more room in the counter, less time spent in there, and so on. Men tend to brood on things before arguing in an explosive way. Then it's resolved. With women I found that little things were cause for bickering more often, but grudges or holding things for the right time wasn't as common. Taking directly has been, for me personally, easier with men than women. The women I dated would read into things I was trying to say, even when I was trying to be direct. For me, sex with men was always easier because there wasn't such an entrenched societal view. Men are men and like sex in our society. Women who like sex are often shamed or insulted, and as a result tend to be, again for me personally, more difficult to approach or converse with when it comes to sex. One of them is way more comfortable buying tampons than the other. I don't get how buying tampons is weird. I've never even slightly felt weird buying them for grills. I have never seen a tampon on a grill. Sizzled blood, anyone? A lack of certain sexual organs for each. I find men give better blowjobs since they tend to have penises. I feel like men seem to enjoy giving blowjobs, whereas with girls it seems like they are just performing a duty. I'm a guy. I prefer giving vs receiving a blowjob. Don't get me wrong. Getting one is great, but giving one is even better. Women will ruin you emotionally, but men will disappoint you profoundly. I wanted to counter this, but honestly, a fair assessment. I'm not sure if this is a general thing, but in my dating experience, guys have this crazy need for making sense and taking the logical decision, while girls have this crazy need for understanding the situations and feelings and making sure all parties, involved or not, also understand what's going on and how everyone feels, which is sometimes a pain in the ass because it's impossible to understand what doesn't make sense. The biggest one for me was when I was dating a guy and wanted to go out of town to visit friends. He'd be all cool, have fun, but when I was dating a girl she'd demand to go with because we should travel together. The relationships I've had with other women have been good, but there has always been this undercurrent of suspicion that whenever I was out of her sight I was going to sleep with all the people. I've been cheated on, but I have never cheated on a partner, so constantly having to defend my wanting to do other things and swearing to keep it in my pants has been an issue with women more so than men. Simple. Women want to make little things into big problems. Men want to act like big problems are just little things. That would mean that women are sensitive and that men are not as sensitive. Therefore the size of the issue will seem different. Small sample size because billions of folks and I can't get to them all. But in my experience, guys have treated me like an achievement, whereas girls treat me like a career. Guys are more assertive about what they want, especially with kissing. Girls are more receptive. In bed with guys, there's a goal and a start/end time, and their idea of foreplay is much narrower. With girls, there's no clear start or end, no goal except to enjoy each other and more of an emotional connection. Guys want to make me come, girls want to see me come. Guys seem to have more hang-ups about toys, like it's impugning their manhood. If I want a vibe, girls are more like, hell yeah, I can't believe you're letting me use this on you. Guys' dirty talk and stories are more about specific acts. Girls' dirty talk and stories are more about how things feel, both physically and emotionally. Obviously, each of these is a spectrum, and I'd say it's more of a 75/25 distribution, like, there are odds or tendencies, not invariable absolutes. But then, I'm also skewed more toward open-minded folks, so I have no idea how representative my experiences are. Men want problems solved without regard to their feelings. Women want their feelings resolved without regard to the problem. Men want a lot more sex generally. Women want sex only when they want it. Men will tell you when there is something really wrong. Women will brood on the little things until they're big things. There is always something wrong. Men don't blame. Once something is dealt with, it's done. Women love blame and bring up things multiple times until they think it's done with. I'll be honest though, I don't sleep with women anymore. Not because I'm gay, but because they are just too fucking hard to please. I've only ever loved women, but in the end it's just not worth it.